Hi, thank you. Hello, thank you for joining us tonight here at Wakefield High School. We're very excited because we have a tech theater project that we're going to present to you, and we're glad that you're being a part of that with us tonight. I'd like to welcome Dr. Wilmore, who is our principal here at Wakefield.
So I would also like to thank you for joining in virtually tonight for this exhibition of our students' work. This has been a great opportunity for our students to collaborate with students at the other high schools here in Arlington and the Arlington Arts Department with Wolf Trap and the Arlington Cultural Affairs Committee. It's a great opportunity for these different groups and organizations to work together to make something special for our students in a time when they really don't have a lot of special things going on.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wilmore. We really appreciate your being here.
Thank you.
Do you want to remove his microphone? Or? Thank you so much. And so, as I said, our project is for our tech theater students, and we're very excited about it, how it transpired and how it came to be. Luckily, we have the Arlington Cultural Affairs people that are here with us today. They are actually the people that created the idea for us, and it's been fantastic because it's made all of the high school theater teachers and their classes end up collaborating together on one project, and it's very, very exciting. I'd like to give special thanks, first off, to Pam Farrell. She's the supervisor for us for the arts education, and without her support, we really would not be here. And I just want to thank her so much for all of the advertisement that she's been able to provide for us and to give this project. This project is called the Collaboration During Isolation. It's a drive-by installation, as you see right here. It was put up, I would say, I'm sorry, I'm moving, but it was put up in 30 minutes or so, this construction, because we're going to be moving this. Well, I'm not a part of that, but the Cultural Affairs are going to be moving this to, the next spot is going to be tomorrow at HB Woodlawn. And then from there, it's going to be moved on Thursday to WNL. So previously, this was at Yorktown High School last week. They were the first to present this presentation in this project, and it was an amazing success. So we're really excited to have this here today. As part of Arts in the Schools Month, Arlington Public Schools is partnering with Arlington Arts, presents the Collaboration During Isolation, allowing our theater students to express their dreams and hopes for a future after COVID. And so that's the idea that the kids were to take. Their idea was, what are my dreams? What do I hope once all of this ends and I'm able to get back into a normalized life? So that's the hope for what we wanted them to express today, this evening with this project. The project was conceived by Jared Davis, who is the Arlington Arts Scene Shop Manager, and Andreas Luke, who is Arlington Arts Head Theater Technician. We are so grateful to them because without their vision and without this creative outlet for our kids, we would be doing something totally different in our classes in the moment that was not collaborative. I mean, we'd try our best, but this project was it was dynamite because it allows the kids to express within a group their dreams and their hopes and learn something brand new. And from what I'm understanding, this is the brand new type of theater technology in which projections are put onto a set piece. And what you see behind me is a set piece. And it's a head in the shape with a thought bubble. And we have it on like this concrete color, cement kind of color, because we're projecting onto it the images that the kids create. It's like having a movie screen, but we're using a different design. A lot of times this has been used, you may have seen projections done on trees or on buildings or just on the floor as you're walking by. One thing I can think of, I remember the first time I think I've seen anything like this was when I went to a mall and I was walking down and all of a sudden at my feet something was moving, and it was lights, but it was being projected. So it's a mapping technique with video. They constructed the flats, and we have a video that will show you they're constructing and building those pieces. And our tech theater students created the videos themselves, expressing their hopes and dreams, as I said, of the future, projected on the head and the thought bubble. All of these projections have been compiled into like an 8-minute video, and it's a presentation you're going to be able to see once the lighting goes down, and this is natural lighting. So it's a slightly unpredictable, but it is a little bit predictable. But we will be projecting as soon as the light gets to a point where we can. We're getting there very close. We received a grant from Wolf Trap that provided us with a guest artist, Patrick Lord. And he helped focus on green screens and how to use green screens in order to make our videos come together. Andreas also helped us with that as well. Patrick does video mapping in the DC area, like Olney Theater, Shakespeare Theater. He also did some for a touring company for the musical Mean Girls. I've actually seen his work because I was in a production that he worked on at the Keegan Theater called Bridges of Madison County. And I have to say, it is amazing to see, because the set just changes visually immediately from one image to the next image, and it's wonderful as an actor and also for an audience to see. So that was incredible experience. So we were thrilled to have him come in and work with us. Also, I think that theater is like a smallish kind of community, because as I was sitting here talking with Jared and Andreas, there were things that I started to realize. Andreas, he is a graduate from Arlington Public Schools. He went to Yorktown and he was in the theater department, and he has done some work in the area that's been amazing. He's worked with the Gala Theater in DC and area theaters in the community here in Arlington. And then with Jared, I didn't realize this. I mean, I sort of did, but I sort of didn't, because I remember him being very familiar. But I've been in productions that he's worked on. He's been scenic designer for Guys and Dolls that I was in with TAP, Psycho Beach Party at Dominion Stage. He was also the designer for Devil Boys from Beyond at Landless Theater Company in DC. And he is such a talent. They both are amazingly talented. So to have my kids be able to work with these wonderful professionals has been, I don't have words for it. It's just wonderful that my kids are being able to work with such professionals. And so I'm thrilled about that. The platform you see behind me is an 8-foot tall by 14-foot wide structure. And you see the shape again. It was built by Jared Davis and Andreas, and I believe it was designed by Jared. Yeah. So Jared did design it. And this is the canvas that all the kids got to work on. The pop-up screen is being set up every night at the 4 high schools, as I said before. Yorktown with Carol Cadby, that's the theater teacher there. They presented on the 16th. HB Woodlawn is on the 23rd, and their theater teacher is Hope Lambert. And she was involved in getting the Wolf Trap grant for us as well. So thank you so much to her. And also to Carol Carol and Hope were like spearheading this whole project once it became live. So I really appreciate them for that. Washington Liberty with Danny Issa, that's going to be our final performance production on the 25th and that will be at the campus at Washington Liberty. The videos are being broadcast live each night, each event through Arlington Arts YouTube and Facebook accounts. There's a hashtag for this. It's called #ProjectingTogether! So we're projecting together with all of the schools and then all of the professionals, and ! Because it's very exciting. Not only were our students able to explore this technology, but they were able to collaborate with each other, express themselves creatively, and learn from experts in the field. Kids went into their breakout rooms during class, and as they would work in their breakout rooms, they would collaborate together and create these amazing pieces that you're going to be seeing, and each one is so uniquely different. The project is a collaboration between Arlington Public Schools, Arlington Cultural Affairs, and is made possible by a grant from Wolf Trap Foundation's Grants for High School Performing Arts Teachers. The students worked with Andreas Luke and Jared Davis in understanding the technical aspects of putting such a project together. And what I have to say is I was lost. As I was watching it, I thought, how is this going to happen? I don't understand this technology aspect, but with their guidance, it just came together, and you'll see it's a beautiful piece. We also had Patrick Lord, as I mentioned before, assist in meeting with the students and fine-tuning their school skills as well. The hope is that our students will be able to take this information and what they've learned and apply it, hopefully next year or in the future at some point, where they can do some projections on stage. I would love to be able to have our productions at Wakefield use this technology in creating different scenes and different moments on stage. In fact, when I think about if I were going to do my own little project, my dream would be I would probably put my image over here of myself being kind of like gradually getting more and more excited from a point of like kind of like that dreary looking at the screen kind of thing that we're all used to now. And on this side, I would probably have everybody in like a Facebook, Teams, Zoom call kind of look, trying to do a production, which is exciting in itself, but it's lacking that live element of being able to interact with each other. Then from there, I would probably have it get to where people were actually performing on stage. And I've told my kids this so many times, this is what mine would be. But what I would end up eventually doing is I would do, that would transform into having this video projection inside the video projection on stage, because that's what I want. I would love for my kids to be like, wait, we can do this on stage. And I'm so thrilled to see what is going to come from this experience. So with that, I'm hoping we might have a little bit of position where we can do the projection. We'll take a try and see how it goes. And if it works, it works. If not, I'll come back and I'll talk to you a little bit.
Hello, and welcome to Arlington County's Scenery Studio. I'm Jared Davis. I'm an artist, a designer, and I'm the manager here at the studio for Arlington County Cultural Affairs. Today, we're going to be producing a series of flats that are going to be the projection surface for your project, Collaboration During Isolation. We have here a diagram of today's project. I created this design for our flats in collaboration with the teachers at all 4 county high schools, and Andres Luque, the technical director for this project. We need a projection surface that will be durable, portable, and take this unique shape of the head and the thought balloon. In the end, these flats are going to be displayed outside each school, and the content you create will be projected and mapped onto the surface. It's important that when you're designing for theater that you make sure that everything is to scale. This drawing indicates 1 inch equals 1 foot. This is necessary to maintain proportions for the stage and will serve as our guide throughout the building process. As you can see, there are some gross dimensions indicated. The head is 8 feet tall by 8 feet wide. The thought bubble is 6 feet tall by 6 feet wide. Right away, we can tell that this is going to require 3.5 sheets of Luan. Luan is a type of thin plywood that is commonly used as underlayment in flooring. It's ideal for this project because it's lightweight, strong, and can be cut and shaped easily. Luan, along with most sheet goods, comes in 4 feet by 8 feet standard sheets. The head will require 2 sheets, splitting the face down the middle, indicated by the dotted line. The thought bubble will also need to be divided into 2 sheets, a 4 by 6 and a roughly 2 by 6 on the bottom. Here we have a full sheet of Luan. It's actually been used in another project, so we're going to be recycling them. We need 2 for the head and 1.5 for the bubble. The next step is to take them over to the panel saw and cut them down into their gross dimensions. We've brought our piece of Luan over to the panel saw. The panel saw you may recognize from your local home center. It's used to make vertical cuts into Luan. Now, with any power tool, you want to know how it works, take all the safety precautions, and use eye protection and hearing protection. Our next step is to mark out 2 feet to cut off of this 4 by 8 sheet of Luan. Now we're ready to make our cut. Now that we've cut down the Luan, we need to transfer our lines onto the piece on the wall. And to do that, I've created a transparency. There are many ways to transfer this design to Luan, but I still like this tried and true method that uses 1950s technology. The design is printed on a clear plastic film, which is then projected onto the surface. Now we have the transparency on the projector. I've created a 1 inch to the foot box around the head, which shows us that we are precisely lined up with the Luan, and we know where to scale. And now the only thing that's left to do is trace the line. Now that we've got the lines drawn for the head, we're going to use a saber saw to cut away everything on this side of the line. I've marked X's everywhere on this side of the line just so I don't get confused as to which part is going away. Now that we're done with that, it's time to start talking about framing. You can see here I made a framing diagram. Framing is the wood that we're going to put on the back of these flats to be able to create a nice flat surface and to create beef so that the jacks can be screwed into the back. On this diagram, the light beige lines indicate the approximate length and number of sticks we will need. We're going to be using ripped down 2x4 into 2x2s for this project. The way flats are made has evolved over time, and how we're making this flat could be unrecognizable to a theater carpenter early in the 20th century. They would have used 1x4 framing and stretched muslin as the surface of the flat. Today, 1x4 is very expensive and rarely straight because of how fast the wood is harvested. Also, Luan does not need as much surface area to attach to as muslin does. For this and several other reasons, we're choosing to cut or rip 2x4s in half to make 2x2s. This will be a bit unorthodox, but the materials and methods of the theater are constantly changing. From the diagram, you can see that the head will need about 10 full 8-foot sticks for framing, and the cloud will need about 5. This is a total of 15 2x2 sticks. Since we're cutting 2x4s in half, we'll need 8 2x4s for this part of the project. Here we are at the table saw. This is one of the most dangerous saws in the entire scenic studio. It's a rotating blade that's fixed, and we feed the material through. So I'm going to need some help on the other side pushing the 2x4s through when we cut them in half. First thing we have to do is turn on the sucker that it will get all the sawdust out, and then we'll turn on the saw and we'll get started. Now that we've cut down all of our 2x4, it's time to put the framing onto the Luan. So first thing I'm going to do is take my 8-foot stick and put it here. And then I'm going to figure out where this one goes. I'd say right about there. And I'm going to make a mark where I want to cut it. Now that we've got some of the framing pieces built, we're going to attach the framing to the Luan. We're going to do that using staples. The reason we're going to be using staples is because if we used screws, the head of the screw would be visible on the projection surface, and the staple makes a much smaller indent in the front of the flat. You always want to use glue and staples. Using just a staple is not sufficient to keep a flat together. So we're going to take our first piece and we're going to run some glue. We're going to carefully put our piece lined up with the edge, and then we're going to run a staple or two into the framing. The next piece we're going to put on is this bottom piece right here. And after that, we'll continue until the whole thing is framed. Our flats are now complete. We've stood them up here in the shop by adding temporary jacks on the back to help give you an idea of the final product. The last thing they need is a coat of paint. I hope you have enjoyed watching this process behind building these flats. I'm looking forward to seeing what amazing things you guys are going to project onto them. On behalf of everyone here at Cultural Affairs and Arlington Public Schools, thanks for watching.
So that was some background information about how we put the flats together and how Jared came up with the procedure for doing that. As you can see, you saw the magic of the environment. and the sun slowly going down, and you were able to see a little bit, if you were still with us, you were able to see a little bit more clearly what was happening on the screen. In the next few minutes or so, it'll get even darker, and it just will start to pop. I saw the last production presentation, and it's amazing to see how clear. It's like going to, like we said, going to an outdoor movie. And so that's kind of why we're waiting a little bit before, we wanted to show some of this before we show the kids' work, because the students' work is just amazing, and it's very moving, and it's touching, and I can't wait for you to see it. But we are waiting a little bit for the sun to go down, just a few more minutes. One thing that occurred to me and was brought up to me by Jared is that Andreas actually, he used to work back in the day at Signature Theater, and he would build the sets for Signature. He would do it at the same building, I believe, in Gunston, building a lot of those sets. Back when the shows were at the garage, I believe. And so that was really kind of an exciting thing to find that out, because I've seen a lot of the productions there from Signature, and even the ones down at the garage. All their shows are fantastic, and it's great to know that my kids were able to work with Andreas. Now knowing that is doubly exciting. And so there was something else we talked about, Jared. I forgot that I was going to mention about you, but I guess not. I think you were afraid I was going to mention something, so I'm not going to mention it. So, but anyway, also when it comes to the kids putting this project together, I would have to say with my students, it took them a little while to understand what we wanted them to do and what we wanted them to try to express and how this process worked. I think after having gone through that process, they now completely understand what's happening, and I look forward to seeing what we do in the future with this sort of technology. I think there's so many uses for it, not only for theater, but for other activities as well. This could be utilized, but it does require having a projector that is very strong and is able to project the distance that we need it. So I'm going to start looking into how much those sort of things cost so that we can have that access for our students here at Wakefield, because I think they would really enjoy being able to create any kind of design, like draw it out, paint it, whatever they'd like to do to express, even use images and collages to create a set on stage and for it to miraculously dissolve and go into another scene. I think that could be exciting. And also collaborate with the technicians that want to build a set in which you can project onto the set, much like this one here, but with different types of like maybe shapes or designs, and having the set be projected, images be projected that way. In fact, when I think back to the one bridges over Madison County, the design that they had there, it was amazing what he projected on. It wasn't just a flat surface, it was like part of a house, and there was like ivy, it was amazing to see. And then the bridges would appear at times within the production, and then it would turn into like a lake scene. So it's amazing what you can do with this technology. Okay, so with that, we're going to move on to our students' creations. I'm so excited for you to see this. It's astounding what our kids are able to create. Here we go.
In the United States, we are old enough not to claim perfection. We recognize that we have some problems of discrimination, but we find steady progress being made in the solution of these problems. The future must see the broadening of human rights throughout the world. People who have glimpsed freedom will never be content until they have secured it for themselves. In a truest sense, human rights are a fundamental object of law and government in a just society. Human rights exist to the degree that they are respected by people in relations with each other and by governments in relations with their citizens. Your individual power, your individual right is very, very important. We can all join together to make this a better world. We can all join together.
Wow, I'm meeting so many new friends. This is so awesome. Oh my god. Oh my god, I actually got it to Yale. This is a dream come true. Sorry, sweetie. Mommy can't play tonight. I can't believe that jerk just gave me all his work. He make ends meet somehow. Oh, feels like just yesterday I gave birth to my little girl. Now she has one of her own.
jack it up.
In the United States, we are old enough not to claim perfection. We recognize that we have some problems of discrimination, but we find steady progress being made in the solution of these problems. The future must see the broadening of human rights throughout the world. People who have glimpsed freedom will never be content until they have secured it for themselves. In a truest sense, human rights are a fundamental object of law and government in a just society. Human rights exist to the degree that they are respected by people in relations with each other and by governments in relations with their citizens. Your individual power, your individual right is very, very important. We can all join together to make this a better world. We can all join together.
Wow, I'm meeting so many new friends. This is so awesome. Oh my god. Oh my god, I actually got it to Yale. This is a dream come true. Sorry, sweetie. Mommy can't play tonight. I can't believe that jerk just gave me all his work. He'd make ends meet somehow. Oh, feels like just yesterday I gave birth to my little girl. Now she has one of her own.
Jack it up.
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In the United States, we are old enough not to claim perfection. We recognize that we have some problems of discrimination, but we find steady progress being made in the solution of these problems. The future must see the broadening of human rights throughout the world. People who have glimpsed freedom will never be content until they have secured it for themselves. In a truest sense, human rights are a fundamental object of law and government in a just society. Human rights exist to the degree that they are respected by people in relations with each other and by governments in relations with their citizens. Your individual power, your individual right is very, very important. We can all join together to make this a better world. We can all join together.
Wow, I'm meeting so many new friends. This is so awesome. Oh my god. Oh my god, I actually got it to Yale. This is a dream come true. Sorry, sweetie. Mommy can't play tonight. I can't believe that jerk just gave me all his work. He'd make ends meet somehow. Oh, feels like just yesterday I gave birth to my little girl. Now she has one of her own.
Jack it up.
In the United States, we are old enough not to claim perfection. We recognize that we have some problems of discrimination, but we find steady progress being made in the solution of these problems. The future must see the broadening of human rights throughout the world. People who have glimpsed freedom will never be content until they have secured it for themselves. In a truest sense, human rights are a fundamental object of law and government in a just society. Human rights exist to the degree that they are respected by people in relations with each other and by governments in relations with their citizens. Your individual power, your individual right is very, very important. We can all join together to make this a better world. We can all join together.
Wow, I'm meeting so many new friends. This is so awesome. Oh my god. Oh my god, I actually got it to Yale. This is a dream come true. Sorry, sweetie. Mommy can't play tonight. I can't believe that jerk just gave me all his work. He'd make ends meet somehow. Oh, feels like just yesterday I gave birth to my little girl. Now she has one of her own.
Jack it up.
In the United States, we are old enough not to claim perfection. We recognize that we have some problems of discrimination, but we find steady progress being made in the solution of these problems. The future must see the broadening of human rights throughout the world. People who have glimpsed freedom will never be content until they have secured it for themselves. In a truest sense, human rights are a fundamental object of law and government in a just society. Human rights exist to the degree that they are respected by people in relations with each other and by governments in relations with their citizens. Your individual power, your individual right is very, very important. We can all join together to make this a better world. We can all join together.
Wow, I'm meeting so many new friends. This is so awesome. Oh my god. Oh my god, I actually got it to Yale. This is a dream come true. Sorry, sweetie. Mommy can't play tonight. I can't believe that jerk just gave me all his work. He'd make ends meet somehow. Oh, feels like just yesterday I gave birth to my little girl. Now she has one of her own.
Jack it up.
Nine, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
In the United States, we are old enough not to claim perfection. We recognize that we have some problems of discrimination, but we find steady progress being made in the solution of these problems. The future must see the broadening of human rights throughout the world. People who have glimpsed freedom will never be content until they have secured it for themselves. In a truest sense, human rights are a fundamental object of law and government in a just society. Human rights exist to the degree that they are respected by people in relations with each other and by governments in relations with their citizens. Your individual power, your individual right is very, very important. We can all join together to make this a better world. We can all join together.
Wow, I'm meeting so many new friends. This is so awesome. Oh my god. Oh my god, I actually got it to Yale. This is a dream come true. Sorry, sweetie. Mommy can't play tonight. I can't believe that jerk just gave me all his work. He'd make ends meet somehow. Oh, feels like just yesterday I gave birth to my little girl. Now she has one of her own.
Jack it up.
Nine, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
In the United States, we are old enough not to claim perfection. We recognize that we have some problems of discrimination, but we find steady progress being made in the solution of these problems. The future must see the broadening of human rights throughout the world. People who have glimpsed freedom will never be content until they have secured it for themselves. In a truest sense, human rights are a fundamental object of law and government in a just society. Human rights exist to the degree that they are respected by people in relations with each other and by governments in relations with their citizens. Your individual power, your individual right is very, very important. We can all join together to make this a better world. We can all join together.
Wow, I'm meeting so many new friends. This is so awesome. Oh my god. Oh my god, I actually got it to Yale. This is a dream come true. Sorry, sweetie. Mommy can't play tonight. I can't believe that jerk just gave me all his work. He'd make ends meet somehow. Oh, feels like just yesterday I gave birth to my little girl. Now she has one of her own.
Jack it up.
Nine, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
In the United States, we are old enough not to claim perfection. We recognize that we have some problems of discrimination, but we find steady progress being made in the solution of these problems. The future must see the broadening of human rights throughout the world. People who have glimpsed freedom will never be content until they have secured it for themselves. In a truest sense, human rights are a fundamental object of law and government in a just society. Human rights exist to the degree that they are respected by people in relations with each other and by governments in relations with their citizens. Your individual power, your individual right is very, very important. We can all join together to make this a better world. We can all join together.
Wow, I'm meeting so many new friends. This is so awesome. Oh my god. Oh my god, I actually got it to Yale. This is a dream come true. Sorry, sweetie. Mommy can't play tonight. I can't believe that jerk just gave me all his work. He'd make ends meet somehow. Oh, feels like just yesterday I gave birth to my little girl. Now she has one of her own.
Hello, I'm back again with one of my former students, Alize Lozano. I'm so excited that she's here. She's a cheerleader, and we've asked her right before the Wakefield portion of this video section if she would do a cheer for us. So this is Alize.
Hello. Okay. Jay, oh wait, hold on, I'm sorry. It's so hard to come up with the cheer at the top of my
No
head.
problem. Oh, yeah. Anything's
Or is
fine.
there a standard Wakefield?
We've got the team, that's all we need. The Generals think they're bad, but that's too bad because the Wakefield Warriors are super bad. Our team will fight for victory tonight. Our team is out of sight, but hey, that's alright, cause it's the Wakefield Stomp. The Wakefield Stomp. The Wakefield Stomp. Thank you!
Thank you. Thank you, Alize. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we're about to continue on again. We're nearing the end of our presentation, and I'll come out and talk to you a little bit after this last bit. Thank you, Alize. I'm so glad you came by.
In the United States, we are old enough not to claim perfection. We recognize that we have some problems of discrimination, but we find steady progress being made in the solution of these problems. The future must see the broadening of human rights throughout the world. People who have glimpsed freedom will never be content until they have secured it for themselves. In a truest sense, human rights are a fundamental object of law and government in a just society. Human rights exist to the degree that they are respected by people in relations with each other and by governments in relations with their citizens. Your individual power, your individual right is very, very important. We can all join together to make this a better world. We can all join together.
Wow, I'm meeting so many new friends. This is so awesome. Oh my god. Oh my god, I actually got it to Yale. This is a dream come true. Sorry, sweetie. Mommy can't play tonight. I can't believe that jerk just gave me all his work. He'd make ends meet somehow. Oh, feels like just yesterday I gave birth to my little girl. Now she has one of her own.
Jack it up.
thank you everyone for being here with us and celebrating our students' work. Very thankful that you were here to be a part of this. Once again, I'm Chris Gillespie, the theater arts teacher here at Wakefield High School. I want to give a special shout out and thanks to our principal, Dr. Wilmore, who was here at the beginning and spoke to everyone and has been very supportive. Also, I'd like to thank all of my students in tech theater. You guys were wonderful. You did a fantastic presentation. I'm so proud of you. Also, my colleagues, I would like to thank Carol Cadby from Yorktown, Hope Lambert from HB Woodlawn, Danny Issa from Washington Liberty. It was great to collaborate with you. And also, I'd like to thank Wolf Trap for allowing us to have Patrick Lord come work with us. And also Pam Farrell, who is our arts coordinator. And most importantly, I really would like to thank the Arlington Cultural Arts and Jared Davis and Andres Luke, who were here that did all of this, putting all of this together and creating the sound and creating the helping put the projections out and designing this whole project. So I want to thank you guys so much. One thing I wanted to mention, if you'd like to see it again at other locations, we have 2 more opportunities tomorrow night at HB Woodlawn. That's going to be at 6:45. And then on the 23rd at Washington Liberty with Danny Issa, the drama teacher there. So thank you again for signing in. Also, thank you for my student who came up and cheered earlier. And have a good evening.